Bro, Hollywood P reacts.
What's going on, YouTube? It's your dude Hollywood P, back again for another video. Now, as always, folks, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Also turn on your post notifications so that you stay up to date with all of my latest uploads. All right, guys, today we have a lot to unpack, and we are going to jump right into things. Now, as we know, this video here is a day after the June 4th trial that Halle Bailey and DDG had for the custody of Halo, restraining orders, everything that was going on there. So this is the 5th. All right, so what pretty much came out of that case is everything that you guys have seen online. DDG here to pretty much like a countersuit or a counterclaim and filed his own restraining order. So his case will be June 24th, 8:30 a.m. As we know, Halle Bailey was supposed to be leaving on the 7th to go to Italy with Halo to go film for 2 months. I don't think she can do that now, but hey, who knows? Okay, so moving forward, everything that was in those text messages, I do believe was real. The text messages that Daryl or DDG presented to the court, he can't, when you're under oath, you can't lie to the courts. You can't, that's a crime to lie. So I do believe those text messages are real and legit. There was a lot in there. There was claims with Lala secretly supposed to have been messing with DDG off in Mexico, which she debunked those claims and said that she already had a conversation with Halle about that, and everything was peaches and cream. So they got that kind of debunked and under the, kind of got that out the way. Now, one thing in the text messages, I was amused with it. I was like, what is going on here? I'm picturing like, how is Halle like this? This can't be Little Mermaid Halle, right? But then I started to read on until it got to a part where it says that she ran off with DDG's firearm, and George pretty much had to talk her down and get the firearm from her. And she was talking about thoughts of, ending her life and all kind of stuff. And I'm sitting here like, I seen this movie before. I seen this. And if you guys don't know, one of my good friends from back in the day, he's no longer with us. You might know him as maybe the famous Jet Jackson, actor Lee Thompson Young. That was my dog. And unfortunately, August 2013, he ended his life. You know what I mean? So when I saw that, and I just started thinking about what is the connection here. I'm going to tell you a story about one time with me and Lee. We were in Orlando, Florida at the club. We was like on the 2nd or 3rd level up. It was like 30 girls. They were dressed to kill pretty much, heels on, dressed, toes done, nails done, everything, the whole, yeah. So this girl, I remember she, we dancing and stuff like this. So it's just me and Lee up on like the 3rd level. He's got this girl. I'm look over here, he's doing this thing. So I'm focusing pretty much handling what's in front of me. Girl dancing on me. I remember the reggae song that was playing to this day. It was like, how the reggae music go doom, 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 doom. And I remember it vividly. And I remember I just kind of was, vibing or whatever. And I just happened to look up. And I looked over at Lee. And now, remind you, there's 30 beautiful women here. I'm talking about 10 out of 10. I do recommend like those, like the ones, baddies, whatever y'all want to call them, right? And I'm like, bro, I'm over here looking like Rico from Paid in Full. I'm looking like Dame Dash, you know what I'm saying, in the videos back in the day. I'm looking like that. I'm having the time of my life. I look over to Lee, and he's looking like this. Now, mind you, we in the club, me and him, we on the 3rd level of this club. A reggae song is playing. We got the baddest, the finest women I've probably seen at the time in my life. I told you, I'm like Rico. If you ain't watched Paid in Full, go watch Paid in Full. I'm like Rico. Hit it with the Dougie with my leg up tight. I'm in here like that. Dame Dash style. I'm having blast. He's looking like this. So I'm like, Lee. He's still looking like this. So he finally sees me calling him, and my homegirl, she came out with a camera. And I'm gonna bring the picture. I gotta find this. This was years ago, so I gotta find a picture where she took a picture of him, and as soon as he saw the camera, he turned and was looking like this. Now, mind you, what he was looking like right before the picture came out. So I'm like, I ain't think nothing. I was like, man, I don't know. Maybe he just was, thinking about everything because the famous Jet Jackson, the 62 episodes had ended. He was probably trying to figure out mentally where he was going to be at in life. All kind of excuses I was making because I was like, he couldn't be going through nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, Lee, I mean, he's an actor. He's, he's successful. The women, he's like a charmer. If you know Lee, he kind of, walk up on a woman, hit her with a smile. And next thing I know, it is what it is. The rest is history. That's how it was. So, being that on August, I know it was August 2013, my boy ended his life. They found him in North Hollywood in his apartment with a hole in his head, if you get what I'm saying, slumped over. Now here, I'm like, bro, this man, you might know Lee from like The Hills Have Eyes 2, Friday Night Lights movies. And you might know him, like I say, his final show was Rizzoli and Isles or something like that. And pretty much the cast, his friends and everything, had a wellness check done to his apartment. The apartment manager goes down, found him in the state that he was in. He was no longer living. And they called the police. And, I was devastated because I felt like there was something that I possibly could have done because I was missing the signs. I didn't know. I'm in here, like I said, we in the club. It's 30 girls around. They 10 out of 10s. For real. Straight up dime pieces. And he's sitting over there, like I say, looking like this. And I just couldn't. I'm like, well, maybe, he just thinking about something. Maybe thinking about life. I made all of the excuses, not knowing that he was battling. Years later, he was fighting bipolar. He got, I think, diagnosed with like some kind of bipolar disorder and depression. I didn't know. So when I seen the Halle Bailey and I was reading these, text messages that she was texting DDG, I was imagining her like this. So as I was reading those text messages, I was visualizing Halle looking like this. But when you see her in the cameras and doing all these award shows or whatever she's into, we always see Halle looking like this, right? Smiling, talking very soft spoken, and like she's living her best life, no problems at all. But then when you look at things that popped up yesterday on those text messages, you understand that smile hides a lot. When I looked at Lee's situation and I compared it to Halle's situation, far as the mental capacity of stuff, they both worked for Disney at one point in time. And you got to realize when you're bringing these people on and as child stars and different things. I'm talking about not necessarily Disney, just being a star, period. Halle Bailey was very young when her and her sister was discovered online. I remember the video, they were singing and stuff like that. Next thing I know, they were signed to Beyonce's Parkwood and $1 million contract was up. You know what I mean? Like, wait, what? Okay, so they signed, they become Beyonce's protege. Do you understand how much pressure that is for a kid to try to live up to someone like Beyonce knows? You know how much pressure that is for somebody young, or hell, somebody old, to try to live up to the hype of Beyonce? I'm gonna tell you this. I don't know how many of you guys actually used to go to church or anything like that and used to have to probably do an Easter speech on Easter. You remember that feeling for people that, went to church and stuff like that and have to stand up in front of all those people, and the anxiety that you feel, the goosebumps of reading and that airy feeling that hits you when you're in front of people. Think about that times 1,000. So it's like, say 20 or 30,000 people in the crowds, just looking at you or singing along, singing your songs, and it's in real time. That means that there is no cut, let's do it over. You're live. So if you fall, it ain't no rewind button. You fell. You understand what I'm saying? And you got to get back up and continue on like nothing just happened, and you just fell in front of 40,000 people. So the pressure that these artists and these, actors and stuff go through is a lot on your mental. And I think back to my boy Lee. I was like, man, it's like he was a nonstop work machine when it came to like Hollywood and just wanting to be the best ever. And he pushed through and knocked it out of the park. But yet I believe that working with these people that's, these producers, these directors that are on these sets out here in Hollywood in different places, and not just necessarily, we're talking about not necessarily just film. I'm talking about just all around. The pressure, the people in your ear, because the thing is, it's cute and cuddly when you're doing your Easter speech at church. Ain't nobody paying for that. But when you out talking about you the Little Mermaid, you're the face of a franchise right now, you know what I'm saying? And there's millions and millions and millions of dollars behind this product. They're going to push you until you possibly break. There's probably moments with Halle was back in her trailer, the film trailer, and she might have been crying. Nobody knows. Probably her sister, maybe Chloe knows. But I'm just saying, there's times where these people will push you past the limits. So when you see these kids out here, from the Britney Spears, my boy Lee Thompson Young, Raven Simone, Orlando Brown, when you see these people and how they are now, just know that they will push past their limits. Let's say that the human brain, say it's here. The max capacity that it can be pushed is here. Hollywood and these other people will push you here, above, past the limitation that the brain's supposed to be at. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. So when you guys have these kids and stuff, and you're in Kentucky, Chicago, Detroit, Florida, Georgia, wherever, and you thinking about, my child could be the next big star, I'm telling you, let those kids be kids. Do not bring them out here to Hollywood, the Disney, the Nickelodeons. No. Those people that work at these studios are grown people, and they don't treat your kids like they at Chuck E. Cheese. They take cigarette breaks, and they curse around your kids. It's a very, very grown up environment. And these kids around here, they don't care. They just, these managers and agents don't care about your kids. Only thing they care about is that 20%. You understand me? But anyway, guys, I just wanted to talk on that. I know I kind of went off subject a lot, but it's just because it reminded me of Lee. Rest in peace to Lee Thompson Young. When that happened, man, it broke me down, because I felt like maybe I could have helped him. I'm in here, we in the club, we out, and I seen this man. I always ask, and I seen him have that look before, where it's like he's not smiling. It's just, I'm thinking just maybe a lot on his mind. This dude working out of control. Like I said, the Hills Have Eyes too. Friday Night Lights, Aquila and the Bee. Like, it was just all type of stuff he was working on. He was in everything. I didn't know he was suffering inside. I didn't know it was a bipolar problem. I didn't know it was depression and all this other stuff. But it's a lot that happens when you push your limits past where your brain capacity is supposed to go. You push it above that, become mentally ill. Oh, and also, before I forget, there is one thing that I wanted to go over, and it's like, we look at Halle Bailey and we pretty much know only of her from the things she do as a star. Halle Bailey is without a question an A-list celebrity. There is no argument about that. She is who she is. She's real. She's the real deal. But everybody has a past, something that maybe been traumatic in their life prior to them becoming famous. And with a little digging, I did find some things for you guys that maybe you want to check out on your own. So I was able to find something on Halle Bailey from Rap Radar, and apparently the dad in that family put hands on her mom and was abusive to the kids. He went to jail. It was a lot of traumatic things that happened. We can try to read some of the story here if I can find it here. Scroll down. Halle Bailey made history. So I think that's just pretty much talking about her success. But according to shocking court documents obtained by Radar Online, Holly's father, Douglas Bailey, was once arrested and charged with multiple criminal charges stemming from a violent incident that took place at the family's Georgia home, in November 2007. The state of Georgia charged Douglas, 49, with 2 counts of family violence, battery, simple battery, disorderly conduct, and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. According to prosecutors, Douglas was accused of intentionally causing visible bodily harm to his wife and Halle's mother, Courtney Bailey. A criminal arrest warrant accused Douglas of punching Halle's mother in the face numerous times in September 29, 2007. So you understand what I'm saying? It's something that maybe is in Halle that she saw in her mom getting, abused, where she said that I would never even have a man talk to me in a manner that feels like a threat, or I'm popping off first. You understand what I'm saying? Because of a traumatic event. People go through things prior to being stars. They have real livelihoods, things that have happened in their past that could be affecting them in their present or in the future. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that Halle's a bad person or anything like that, but it's just people have gone through things in their life that maybe affect them now in their actions. I mean, when I heard the story, I was sitting there and I was like, when I heard her story, I'm like, DDG, man, how could you? And then when I hear DDG's story about how he was in the front seat and she jumped from the back seat and jumped to the front of the driver's seat and hit her head on the steering wheel because of the capacity that she was. I'm like, man, hold on, what is going on? So I'm picturing like a Chucky doll jumping from the back seat to the front, not to make fun or anything or make light of the situation, but I knew something else was going on. But then when I looked deeper in about the whole weapon and George had to disarm her type thing, I knew this thing was bigger than rap. But anyway, guys, we are going to end it there. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn on your post notifications. And as always, folks, holla back at your boy. Peace.